Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm AndyRC, and today I've got even more information regarding the CADDX Nebula nano camera for the DJI Air unit and the CADDX Vista. And that is because CADDX FPV has put the camera up on its website for pre-order, and I have to say I am extremely impressed and surprised with the price because it only costs $36.99, and it's going to be available in two colors. So this is the black version here, which I hadn't seen before, and they are going to sell the silver version, which I've already shown on the channel. There's some more pictures down here as well, so we can see the back. And it looks like the coax from the Air unit or the Vista can clip directly into the back. We've got some screws here. I think that's going to come off and clip straight in. And the reason I believe that is you can see we've got some other purchase options here where you can order a 12cm coaxial cable and also an 8cm coaxial cable. But if you just want to unclip the stock DJI camera from the CADDX Vista or the Air unit, it looks like you can just clip the coax straight into the back of the Nebula, which is great because it's going to be very cheap if that is the case. So if we scroll down here, we have got some more information. So it's going to be made out of aluminium alloy or aluminum, and it's saying 720p 60 fps. So just as I mentioned in my last video, it doesn't look like it's going to have a low latency mode, but it does look like it's going to have a high quality mode because that usually runs at 60 fps against the 120 fps of the low latency mode. But I am absolutely fine with that. So we've got the dimensions, which I mentioned in my previous video, 14mm by 14mm, which is a nano size. So it's the same size as the CADDX EOS 2. Be great for putting in toothpicks and smaller models such as Cinewhoops. And the weight here is interesting. It's gone up to 4.5 grams. I assume that's because they are including the weight of the coax. I think it was about 3.8 or 3.9 grams when they first announced it, but it's still half the weight of the full DJI camera, which is quite a saving if you are putting it on a small model. So if I scroll down here, you can see it's attached there to the Vista and also the Air unit, and it mentions that the digital transmitter needs to be purchased separately. However, that's not quite the case. I'll show you in a minute, but I want to show you this picture because the package actually comes with an adapter, and I'm really glad about this. Now, this is a 19mm adapter as well, so for a micro FPV camera. One thing that was a little bit annoying when DJI released their camera is it was about 20 to 21mm and it didn't quite fit our frames, but this adapter here is going to fit our frames, and I want to see what the HD recording is like from the Air unit, and I don't have any toothpick frames or tiny whoop frames that would carry an Air unit. I don't think one exists actually, so it's great that they are including this so we can see what the quality is like compared to the stock DJI camera. You can see there 19mm by 19mm, that is micro size, and then nano size when the frames eventually come out, because I imagine there's going to need to be some modification out there. Of course, there's going to be some frames already out there for analog, but we're going to have to maybe do a little bit of modifying to get this camera and a Vista in something like a Cinewhoop. So if I scroll down, I already showed the dimensions here as well, so you can start planning your builds. And we've got some more information here that I didn't have before. So it's got a 1/3 inch CMOS sensor, 720p 60 I've already mentioned, and 150-degree field of view, which is the same as the stock DJI camera. So if that is correct, that's impressive. And like I mentioned in my previous video, the Nebula has got a 16:9 camera sensor, so we're only going to be able to view it in 16:9 through the goggles. But with them saying a 150-degree field of view, maybe it could be a better field of view than the stock DJI camera. But it all depends how they're measuring that field of view. Is it horizontal field of view? Is it diagonal field of view? We will only be able to tell when I look through those goggles and see what I'm looking at. And the lens is a 2.1mm lens. So it is only going to have one mode with this one. There's not going to be a low latency or high quality mode. It's just one mode for this particular camera, so we'll have to see what that is like when it turns up. So the FPV latency, 32 milliseconds, again, it's around about the latency of the high quality mode in the DJI goggles, which is what I always fly with, because I find that the low latency mode runs at around about 23 milliseconds, but the high quality mode runs anywhere between 32 and 38 milliseconds. But the amount of extra quality that you get in the image is well worth it compared to the lower latency, which I can barely notice. I can fly fine in a high quality mode and do lots of flippy flops, fly very fast, so not a problem for me. It says TV system, NTSC and PAL, changeable, working temperature, and again the weight 4.5 grams and the dimensions is mentioned there. So if you just get the camera, this is what you're going to get in the package. So the camera itself, some screws, the adapter case, and also the warranty card. But they also have got this tab here where you can buy the camera along with a CADDX Vista, and it's only $125, which isn't bad. So you've got that option as well. Looks like you can change the different color of the camera. Personally, I think I would go with silver, with it being made of aluminium or aluminum. Maybe the black will heat up, but I don't know. Perhaps not, we'll have to see. And again, you can order separate coax cable of different lengths, so that's great. So let's see if we've got anything else, just some pictures that we haven't seen before. It says that the entire weight of it is going to be 24 grams, including the Vista, so that might be important for your build. And here it's saying actually the range, so 4 kilometers, which I think is the same as the Air unit and also the Vista. I don't think that's changed, it's just the latency that has changed, which is hardly surprising because that part isn't changing. We're basically just changing the camera to get the weight down even more, because that's what a lot of people are waiting for. They're waiting for this unit to get small enough to go into a tiny whoop. I'm not sure if that will happen, but they have surprised us again with this camera, so who knows. But let's see if we've got anything else. They're just comparing analog to HD. We all know the difference by now. And then that is the Nebula there against the Vista. So yeah, very small footprint here. Let's see if there's any extra information here. It says the HD system is designed for small drones and weighs as low as 24 grams, excluding the antenna, so a little bit more for the antenna there. And it says it can be used with the DJI FPV goggles and provides 720p 60 fps digital high definition picture. I think that's the live view. It'd be interesting to see what it records on the Air unit. I can't see it recording a lower resolution on the Air unit because that is fixed, but we'll see, because the Air unit did have to have an update for this camera, so maybe it does just record in 720p with the Air unit, making this camera more suitable for the Vista than the Air unit. But when I receive this camera, it's something that I'm going to check out. We've got 8 channels here, and yeah, it's mentioned in the Vista here, probably because this is bundled in with the Vista there. But anything else that we need to know? So no, just the model name, some of the Vista specifications here, and that is your lot. So yeah, very exciting times when it comes to DJI, and also exciting times as well with the Fat Shark Shark Bite. Have to make sure I say that correctly. Hopefully when that comes out, I would love to get my hands on it. You know, I've got a friend that, fingers crossed, might be getting one, so it'd be great to try that out. I love all things FPV, and I don't discriminate, you know. I think competition is fantastic. One of the things that I've heard that is great regarding the Shark Bite system is that it runs on race band, whereas the DJI system is staggered, so it's more difficult to fly at the same time. So we'll have to see what the future brings, but it's looking very exciting. I'll put links in the video description if you want to pre-order this. As far as I'm aware, you can only get it from CADDX FPV from now, but it's going to be in all retailers, no doubt, very shortly. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.